ज्ञानञ्जनोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome back to the series of discussions which we are having on deliberations on pure devotional service, Bhakti, Tattva, Viveka. And if you remember in the last class, we discussed how the object of Bhakti is Bhagavan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is discussing the intrinsic characteristics or the Swarupa Lakshan of Bhakti. And he has spoken a little bit on Anukulena and Anushilanam also we have discussed the two characteristics. And Bhakti, this Anukulena, Anushilanam has to be done to Krishna. And this topic is quite exhaustively discussed in Bhakti Tattva Viveka, that the object of Bhakti is Bhagavan, not Brahman, Paramatma or Paramatma. So this is what we had been discussing in the last classes, if you remember. And here the discussion on the Swarupa Lakshan gets over. So today we will discuss the marginal characteristics, the Tatastha Lakshan or the Gauna Lakshan of Bhakti. So which are the Gauna Lakshans of Bhakti? Anyone knows? What are the Gauna Lakshan of Bhakti? What are the marginal characteristics? What are the Gauna Lakshan of Bhakti? We have been only discussing this definition of pure devotional service in the last few classes now. So you should be able to tell what are the Gauna Lakshan or the marginal characteristics of anyone would like to try? Virendra Yadav Prabhuji? What are the Gauna Lakshan of Bhakti?
Prabhu, it is Anya Vilasita Sunyam and Gyan Karmadhyam.
Jnana Karmadya Anartam. Yes, these are the two Gaun Lakshans. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks quite briefly about it, but very interesting discussion, and you will have to very carefully hear this discussion. The two secondary features of pure bhakti, remember, are absence of other desires and lack of obstruction from gyan or karma. In explaining the meaning of the verse, Vishnu Bhakti Pravakshami Yaya Sarvam Evapyate, Garud Puran from Bhakti Sandarbha, the secondary characteristics of bhakti are discussed. So while explaining this verse from the Garud Puran in the Bhakti Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami says that this verse discusses the secondary characteristics of bhakti. The verse means by the bhakti which I will explain, the jiva will attain all things. So this is what the verse means. Desiring for attaining things is called abhilashita. First, Bhaktivinoda Thakur defines what is abhilashita. Abhilashita means desiring for attaining things. Like, Morai abhilash, bilas kunje devas. So my desire is to attain a residence in Vrindavan. But this abhilash is spiritual desire. It is favorable. Whereas desire for attaining material things, even in the form of mukti or bhukti, is abhilashita. But not desiring other things does not mean that one should give up desiring advancement in one's bhakti. So this is a very important point Bhaktivinoda Thakur is bringing. Like I gave that example, Morai Abhilash. Does not mean that one should give up desiring advancement in one's bhakti. The desire to attain bhava through sadhana bhakti is excellent. If I have a desire that I'll practice sadhana bhakti and attain bhava bhakti, then this is excellent desire. Or Morai Abhilash every day, while Tulsi Maharani Kirtan is going on, we sing this. So this is favorable, this is excellent. However, other desires are to be rejected. The other desires have to be rejected. Other desires consist of desires for material pleasure and desire for liberation. So the other desires are, what are these other desires? Desire for bhukti and desire for mukti. These have to be rejected. Concerning this, Rupa Goswami has said. Now, concerning what? These other desires, bhukti and mukti, Rupa Goswami speaks about it. Bhukti mukti spriha yavat pishachi ridivartate dhavad bhakti sukasyatra katam abhyudo bhavet. As long as the two witches of the desires for bhukti and mukti remain in the devotee's heart. Bhukti mukti spriha yavat. Spriha means the desire. Desire for bhukti, desire for mukti, yavat. And what it is compared? Pishachi ridhi vartate. As long as these two witches reside in the devotee's heart. Not even a fraction of pure happiness derived from Swarupa Siddha Bhakti. Tavad Bhakkas Bhakti Sukasyatra. Now here Bhakti refers to Swarup Siddha Bhakti. Swarup Siddha Bhakti is Uttama Bhakti or pure devotional service. Mishra Bhakti also you are experiencing happiness. But that is not what we are speaking. Here we are speaking about Shuddha Bhakti. Swarup Siddha Bhakti will not arise. Not even a fraction of pure happiness derived from Swarup Siddha Bhakti will arise. Both bodily and mental enjoyment are considered the. So this is the verse. So there is a footnote regarding this Swarup Siddha Bhakti. All favorable endeavors such as hearing, chanting, remembering and so on, as well as the manifestation of spiritual sentiments which occur beginning from the stage of bhava, which are completely devoid of all desire separate from Krishna, and which are freed from the coverings of jnana and karma, are known as Swarup Siddha Bhakti. This is the first footnote regarding Swarup Siddha Bhakti. All other words, in other words, all endeavors of body, mind, and words that are related to Sri Krishna and that are performed exclusively and directly for his pleasure without any intervention are known as Sarup Siddha Bhakti. So now you can make some guess from this footnote about Sarup Siddha Bhakti what Rupa Goswami is speaking. What Rupa Goswami is speaking in this verse. So any thoughts, any reflections on this statement or this translation and this footnotes, or any questions you have regarding it? Any questions, any footnote, any thoughts about it? Yes, Birendra Yadav Prabhuji.
Prabhu, here Chesta, Silanam refers to Bhavarup Silanam?
Chesta, there is no question of Chesta there. Here is the only, see,
Activities,
here,
Prabhu.
no, here we have to understand that we are speaking about not the Swarupa Lakshan of Bhakti, where there is Anushilanam. We are speaking about the Tatastha Lakshan. Tatastha Lakshan is Anyabhilashit. You are hearing Krishna Katha, but you have desires. After I hear the class, I should get prasad. Or the speaker, while speaking Krishna Katha, has a desire that after I speak, I should get some remuneration, or I should get prasad. So we are speaking about those desires, the Tatastha Lakshan. So don't mix it.
Right. Understood. Thank you.
So please carefully think about this statement. Let us go a little ahead and further discuss this, and then I will also ask well questions whether how rightly we have understood the statement of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Material enjoyment includes enjoyment through body or mind. This is material enjoyment. Good health in this life, good food, strength, wealth, house, wife, victory, offspring, fame, position, and high status are included in material enjoyment. Attaining birth as a Brahmana or a king, attaining Swarga or Brahmaloka in the next life is also material enjoyment. The 18 siddhis acquired through Ashtanga Yoga and the desire for 8 types of wealth are also included in material enjoyment. Impelled by a thirst for enjoyment, the human falls under the control of lust and the 6 forces: lust, anger, greed, joy, pride, and intoxication. The heart becomes occupied by envy. When one attains the practice of pure bhakti, when one comes to the practice of, one must reject completely the desire for material enjoyment, bhakti. It is not that the jiva should go to the forest to renounce enjoyment. Can one give up desire simply by going to the forest or taking sannyas? If one remains situated in the world and makes effort to perform bhakti while renouncing eagerness for material enjoyment, the desire for enjoyment will be. Rupa Goswami has said, Ruchim udvahatas tatra janasya bhajane hare visheshu karishtopi raga prayo viliyate. If a person has a taste for worshipping the Lord, raga prayo viliyati, even if he has strong material attraction. Vishayeshu garishtopi. Those attractions will be, for the most part, destroyed during sadhana without resorting to vairagya. When ruchi is there, stage, that time, praya viliyate, it will be destroyed without resorting to vairagya. Anasaktasya vishayan yatharamba upayunjitah nirbandha krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. The vairagya of that person who employs objects suitable for devotional development while remaining detached from them. Anasaktasya vishayan and yatharamba upayunjitam, suitable for devotional development, is said to be suitable for bhakti. Yukta vairagya muchate. The object should be persistently related to Krishna. Nirbandha Krishna sambandha. So these verses have to be very thoroughly understood, that when you have ruchi for bhajan, then what happens? These desires, although they are very strong, they'll be destroyed. You need not artificially practice vairagya. And what is the true vairagya devotee practices? This is Yukta Vairagya. So this is the verse which is being spoken, Yukta Vairagya verse. Now here we have to see Anasaktasya Vishayan. There are three criteria given. One is, I'll just point it out. Anasaktasya Vishayan. This is Anasaktasya Vishayan, first part. And then suitable Yatharamba Payunjita it is. And the object should be persistently related to Krishna. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha. So these are the three criteria which are mentioned. Now we have to ask a question. We can use everything in Krishna service. Everything. But first criteria is we should not be attached to them. I can use a car in Krishna service. How? Because the car, I can use it for going to the place where I can do preaching. But I can misutilize the car also for my own enjoyment. Similarly, a temple is favorable to propagate Krishna Bhakti. But in that temple, I have my room and I can become attached to it. A laptop, I can use it for Krishna service, for preaching, but then am I attached to the laptop? That has to be seen. So the first thing is Anasaktasya Vishaya. And the second point is what? Yatharamba Upayunjita. Suitable for devotional development and it is suitable for bhakti. So we have to see whether Anukulesa Sankalpa, whether this object is suitable, yes or no, for my devotional development. Sometimes these objects, we might become attached and we might enjoy, and instead of practicing Yukta Vairagya, we can become bhogis, right? So whether it is suitable. Third is, those objects should be persistently nirbandha Krishna sambandhe. In relation to Krishna, they should be always used. So just take an example of mobile phone. We can use it for communicating with devotees and to speak to devotees and preach to devotees. First thing is anasakta saveshan. We should not be attached to the mobile and it should be suitable. We can use the mobile for our own pleasure also. Seeing some entertainment, some movies in it. So mobile cannot be persistently used in relation to Krishna. But if you take the example of a yak tail, Everyone knows the yak tail, which is called as chamar in Krishna service. You cannot become attached to it. Can anyone become attached to a yak tail? No. So there is anasakta vishan. And it is suitable for bhakti, using that to chamar, to fan the Lord. And that yak tail has no other purpose except that it is always used for fanning the Lord. No other purpose. Or the chamar. So apart from the yak tail, any other objects, do you know which fall in that category? That they fulfill this category. Anasatyasa Vishan, Yatharamba Upajita, and Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha. The chamar is one example which fits in this category where we won't become attached to it. The first three examples what I gave of the mobile phone or the temple, the car, we become attached to it. We are still not, detached. Asakti will be there. And it is suitable, but sometimes it is not suitable. Why? Because we might use it for our own enjoyment. And it cannot be consistently only used in Krishna service. So any other examples like the chamar, which fulfills these three criteria? Who would like to answer? Any example which will fulfill these three criteria, like the chamar example I gave you. We don't become attached to the chamar, anasakta section. It is suitable to be used in our devotional development for bhakti, and it is consistently or persistently used in Krishna service only. It cannot be used in any other for any other purpose. Any other objects? Any other objects? Please raise your hands to answer. Virendra Yadav Prabhuji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So Shankh we can use in Krishna service.
Yes, yes. Shankh also, yes, can be used in Krishna service. Anasakta, you don't become attached to Shankh. You don't keep the Shankh with you and travel everywhere as you keep the mobile. First thing in the morning, you will not, even if you are attached to the Shankh, it is, it's an object which is, you will not get attached to it. So Anasakta Shushan and the Upanishad is suitable and it is persistently used in Krishna service. Yes, this is one example. Of course, all deity paraphernalia will find their place, but I would like to see some other unique examples. Yes, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Nanda Pranam Prabhuji. So I'm not Shankha, just I feel मतलब शंख ही मेरे दिमाग में था. And प्रभु जी मुझे एक क्वेश्चन है कि जैसे हम लोग मतलब जो तीनों क्राइटेरिया फुलफिल करना है गृहस्थी के लिए इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट. तो हाउ कैन यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस कि हम लोगों को जो मोबाइल यूज करते हैं तो हम लोग भक्ति के लिए भी यूज करते हैं और हमारे मतलब घर के रिलेटिव्स फ्रेंड्स थोड़ा वो भी हम गृहस्थ में तो हमको भी थोड़ा मेंटेन करना पड़ता है उसके लिए भी हम थोड़ा देखते हैं. तो हाउ कैन वी फुलफिल then three criteria? गृहस्थ के लिए इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट.
Okay, I understood the question. The question is, okay, we had been now discussing some other examples of how the chamar and the shankh was given. I would like to first complete this discussion and then take the question. Let us first try to understand first part of. So any other things you feel where will not become attached and it is favorable for the suitable development of bhakti, that object upayunjita, and it is only persistently used in relation to Krishna. Any other objects you think? Any other? Please think about it. I also want to do some brainstorming also. I'm also thinking of some examples as I speaking. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sri Rupa Kamala Devi Dasi. Prabhuji, chanting beads.
Chanting beads, yes. Anasakta, we should become asakta to our chanting beads.
Yeah.
We should be very attached to our chanting beads, never leave them.
Yes, true.
Payanjata and Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha. Well, little bit it is in a gray area, I can say. Right? It is directly, in one sense, it's not a sense object, It's not a sense object. Even the DT paraphilia, one example I gave. Any other examples anyone can think of? A small chariot or a chariot. You don't become attached. And it is favorable for Krishna's service. And it is only used for Palki Utsav. Palki Utsav. Or the Palki Utsav, you carry that palanquin. Na? So, okay, it can be used for carrying someone else, but that is not now the culture in today's world. It was there in the previous times where the queens were carried in the. There is pleasure in being carried in the Palki Utsav, but now, at least for now, in this contemporary world, you can only Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe. Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe. So now coming back to any other object, we have to carefully understand this verse. We have to see how likely is that I might become attached to that object, and how much I'm going to always use it so that it is favorable for my cultivation of devotional service. If it is not favorable, then we'll have to see Anukulyasya Sankalpa, Pratikulyasya Vaja. And how much I'm using it for Krishna service, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. So in case of a mobile phone, as Mataji's question was, yes, we have to see whether we are attached to our mobile. What happens when one day our mobile is lost? Do we get some withdrawal symptoms, we have to say, or we are happy that now I'm just free to just absorb and chant and read and no distractions. But nowadays it's not like that. The mobile is more than what you can say, our life partner, husband is always with us. We don't want to leave it. So if you become attached, that is first criteria. Second, yes, you can use it in Krishna service. You are using Krishna service, and whatever is necessary for maintaining yourself in the material world, that is also okay. One is positive, using the Krishna service. Neutral is for our worldly dealings, but it can go in the negative axis. People become addicted to mobile and waste their time, watch all nonsense things on the mobile. So that can happen. If that is happening, then it is not good. And Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe criteria doesn't fit for the mobile. So how much we can consistently only use in Krishna service, we'll have to try to work in that direction. So like that, we as sadhakas should be very, very careful. Because anasaktasya vishayan means you should become asakta to Krishna. Mayasakta manapartha. Yogam yunjan madashaya. So one is completely attached to Krishna, he is detached from matter. So one who has attained that state, he can actually practice Yukta Vairagyam Uchate. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur he was using a Rolls-Royce vehicle for preaching. Unheard of during that time. And that time only 2 or 3 people in India had that vehicle. It's completely detached, But if we have a Rolls-Royce, we might become attached to a Rolls-Royce. So that is why we have to be very careful about it. So any clarifications? I hope Mataji, this answer is satisfactory to you. Any other questions?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Yes, we can maintain both the situations. We can use only, but not for just a time pass. We can use for, but the major we can use for the spiritual life, and then for maintain the balance.
Whatever is necessary for our worldly dealings, we can use. But if it is going in the negative side, then we'll have to be careful. And as far as possible, we have to make it Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha, which is not possible, Nirbandha. It cannot be consistently only used in Krishna service. So we have to understand all these, and then, also discipline, because these objects can, uh, cause so many phobias nowadays. There are so many phobias now. Inattention. Inattention is one of our greatest phobias now. So that's why we'll have to be careful about it. So coming back to again the discussion, that desire for bhakti should be not there, and Rupa Goswami is quoting these verses. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandini vastuna mumukshuvih parityago vairagyam falgu katyate. Rejection of things related to the Lord by persons desiring liberation. Prapanchitaya buddhya hari sambandini vastuna. Everything in this world is related to Krishna because it is a Shakti coming from the Shaktiman. But rejecting those things which are related to the Lord, who think that these things are simply material objectives, is called useless vairagya. This is called as Falgu vairagya. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives some practical suggestion. It is not possible for an embodied soul to completely renounce the object of the senses. But changing the enjoying tendency towards them while maintaining an understanding of their relationship to Krishna cannot be called sense gratification. An embodied soul cannot completely reject sense enjoyment. But the tendency to enjoy, or in the enjoyer mood, that has to be given up. Form, rupa, taste, rasa, smell, gandha, touch, sparsha, and sound, shabda, are the object of the senses. These are the objects of the senses. Indriya Vishaya, these are. We should try to perceive the world in such a way that everything appears related to Krishna. Meaning that we should see all living entities as servants and maid servants of Krishna. Not that, these living entities are my servants, they should serve me. No, they're all servants of Krishna. See gardens and rivers as pleasurable sporting places for Krishna. So when you go to a garden, you can see that the tendency is that, when I see the garden, oh, this is a nice pleasure place for me so that I can relax and see the beautiful scene here. No. Oh, such a nice garden for the wonderful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So that should be our mood. You should see those gardens in relationship to Krishna. See that all types of eatables are to be used as an offering for his pleasure. Every eatable you see, oh, this can be a bhoga for Krishna. And after Krishna is enjoyed as Bhoktara, then he will give his mercy in the form of prasad. So we should not see with the bhoga vritti. In all types of aromas, perceive the aroma of Krishna prasad. That means we should only, when we smell aromas, we should not smell them with desire to enjoy. Recently, I was with one sannyasi, and a beautiful white lily was offered to him. A brahmachari offered to him. And first the sannyasi said, is it offered to Krishna? Said, no. Okay, let us go and offer to Krishna. So he offered it and then he smelled it. So like that, if we have the tendency to smell those aromas without offering to Krishna, then the bhog vritti will be there. In the same way, see, all types of flavors are to be relished by Krishna. Oh, this is a season, jackfruit is there. Let me go and, get jackfruit for Krishna's pleasure. See that all the elements we touch are related to Krishna, and here only narrations describing the activities of Krishna or his great devotees. Pachamsi Vaikunta Gunanuvarnani. So this is how we should, the sense objects should be seen in relationship to Krishna without the desire for sense gratification. When a devotee develops such an outlook or mood, then he will no longer see the object of the senses as being separate from Bhagavan himself. He will no longer see like that. So this is the spirit in which we should see. This is very, very important and understanding when we, I don't know whether I have discussed here, when we honor Krishna Prasad, many times devotees after having Prasad, they say, I enjoyed the Prasad. So if you say I enjoyed the Prasad means that you are in the mood of the enjoyer. Krishna has enjoyed the Prasad. Hoga. And I honored the Prasad is the right term we should say. And even while seeing the Prasad, if we see the Prasad with the spirit of enjoyment, and we might what? Overeat. And then we break the principle Jiva Vegam or Jiva Vegam or Atyahar. We do the Atyahar. So we become Bhukti, Bhoga Vritti comes in. So the desire for enjoying is also not good. So in another place, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions how to spiritualize the ahar of the senses. The eyes, we should see deities, temples, scriptures, holy places, spiritual dramas, spiritual festivals. This is how we should spiritualize the eyes. The ears, we should hear scriptures, spiritual songs, lectures and conversations. With the nose, we should smell tulsi, flowers offered to the Lord, sandal paste, chandan offered to the Lord, fragrant items offered to the Lord. With the tongue, we should vibrate the kirtan of the holy name and honor prasad. With the touch, the air of the holy places, pure water, body of the Vaishnava, soft bed offered to the Lord, association of a chaste woman for propagation of God-centered family. That's how we should spiritualize the sense of touch. And the times also he mentions as Ekadasi and festivals. And places, Vrindavan, Navdeep, Puri, and Naimisharanya. This is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur also mentions how to spiritualize the hours. The tendency to enjoy the happiness obtained from sense gratification intensifies the desire for bhakti within the heart of a devotee and ultimately deviates him from the path of bhakti. So now we can understand as long as in the subtle body these desires for bhakti are there and the bhog vritti is there, we are practicing sadhana but the bhog vritti is not gone. So at least the gross, we should become free and engage more and more in sadhana and become gross. Then there is subtle in the form of, puja la pratishta. And then there is still subtler, heavenly enjoyment, heavenly nectar, heavenly food, fine aromas, all that, or going to the heavenly planets like Satyalok or Swargalok. On the other hand, by accepting all the objects of this world as instruments to be employed in Krishna's service, the desire for bhakti is completely eradicated from the heart, thus allowing unalloyed devotion to manifest there. So as long as these desires are there in the heart, bhakti, mukti, spruha, pishachi, yavat. Yavat means as long as the desires of bhakti and mukti are there, till then, pure devotional service, Sarup Siddha Bhakti or Ananya Bhakti or Kevala Bhakti does not manifest there. Till then, there is the Bhakti is Mishra. I hope this point is clear. Any questions regarding this up till now, what we have discussed? How many of us feel that we are not free from the desire of bhakti? Please raise your hands. 1, 2. Nadia Chaitanya Prabhu, you're there or no? Tukaram Prabhuji, are you there? Tukaram Prabhuji, are you there?
Very much here, Prabhuji. Very much.
Do you feel that you are free from the desire for bhakti?
Absolutely not. We enjoy every day, yes,
Okay, so I wanted the hands to be raised. So since you are not raised your hand, so I had to ask you. Okay, so you have also raised your hand, that means, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
So we can understand that still the subtle body is not pure from the desires of bhakti. These are gross desires. Now, after these gross desires are eliminated, then there are subtle desires in the form of the I want to मैं जन्म मृत्यु चक्कर से बाहर जाना चाहता हूँ. I want to become rid of from this material world and go back. I want to cross this samsara. I don't want to take birth again. So this is the desire for mukti. So this desire is very, very subtle. And we should be this bhakti, mukti spruha also, if it is there, tavat, till then, bhakti sukhasyatra, the taste of pure devotion, katam abvido bhaed, how one can relish. So as long as the subtle desires of bhakti also are present, mukti, till then also we cannot relish Sarup Siddha Bhakti. So now we'll come to the second part. So any questions, any clarification anyone has? Virendra Yadav Prabhuji, yes.
Just clarification. Even when we say that we are honoring prasad, but when prasad seems to be, delicious, very tasty, then we get into enjoyment mode. So that's one area that I think we need to work on.
I'm not able to hear you clearly. Can you speak a little loudly, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, is it audible now?
Very clear.
Prabhu, just I wanted to mention that even when we are honoring prasad and when prasad is very delicious, so we tend to go in enjoyment mode. We try to enjoy the prasad. And actually, we don't honor the prasad.
Yes.
This is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, it is true in most of the cases, because the bhoga vritti is there in the subtle body, and we are practicing devotion, but it is not pure devotion, because in pure devotion there is no such desire. Actually, you see prasad and you fall in ecstasy. Oh, this has been tasted by Krishna, and Krishna is enjoyed, so that object becomes the enjoyer, and you, the subject, become enjoyed. Whereas we think I am enjoyer, and that object is to be enjoyed. So we are still in bhog vritti then, bhoktaram. So like that, it takes a while as we start practicing our bhajan more seriously, then we can become free from these tendencies. Yes, Tukaram Prabhuji.
Just 7 o'clock we were discussing today's Sunday feast. It was very simple prasad, and many of us were disappointed.
Yes. So how our mind, becomes affected by all this. When the prasad is nice, you glorify it. Wow.
Yeah.
Why? Because it satisfied my taste buds. When the prasad is not, arey, what is this? So we are still in raga and dvesh. What we like, the mind is attached to it. What we don't like, the mind is having dislike. So, raga dvesha vimuktestu vishayan indriyasharan. Atma raga dvesha vimuktestu vishayan indriyasharan. Vidhi atma prasadam adi gacchati. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 2.64 is saying we are still operating on the platform of raga and dvesh. So that is why it is not so easy to come to this platform of even practicing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, because this is the qualification of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, that you should be free from the desire for bhakti and mukti. Because Sadhana Bhakti definition is given, and then Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti definition is given. And what are the qualifications of one who is a Vaidhi sadhaka? That he should be free from these tendencies. So I'll just show this verse. Raga dvesha vimuktestu vishayan indriyasyan atma vashair vidhi atma prasadam. And he gets the mercy of the Lord. So it's not prasad as food, but prasad here means also mercy. He attains the Lord. So we are not under the control of the senses. And we are practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So that's the point. Okay, any other questions? There is one more hand raised. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, if one devotee makes very nice prasadam, then can we appreciate her कि प्रसाद बहुत अच्छा बना है? That is also which part I don't. मतलब हम
In
लोग
the
appreciate
Uddhav
कर
Gita,
सकते हैं नहीं कर सकते?
in the Uddhav Gita, Krishna says that one should not neither praise nor criticize. When we praise, why do we praise? Because we like it. If you praise, it is one side of the coin. The other side is criticize. So many years I have seen, especially with respect to prasad, we praise the prasad because we like it. Like, I'm from South India. I'm not exactly from South India, but I'm telling, just giving an example. I'm telling, I'm from South India. I like dosas. So today the cook makes dosas and you go and appreciate him. Praise him. Wow, what a dosa you made. Why? Because it satisfied me. And next day he makes khichdi. And even in that khichdi, there is no salt. So because it is not liking to me, I'll go and criticize the pujari, the cook. What kind of a khichdi you have made? So you will end up again in this dvanda duality. So that is why even with respect to taking prasad, prasad has been honored by Krishna. So how Krishna has relished this prasad, that should be our meditation. Radha Krishna Gungao, Premadako Chaitanitai, Jainimai, Jainitai. So that should be Shaka Kari Aswadane, Sei Shaka Krishna Aswadino. So that should be our mood and spirit. And to come to this point is not so easy. So when we appreciate also, it is because we have liked it. That's why we are appreciating. And if we do that, when it is not as per our liking, we will also criticize them. So sometimes genuine appreciation, rarely, and that very advanced devotees do it, that is not falling in this category of raga and dvesh. That's how we can understand. Otherwise, the tendency of the conditioned soul is to go between these fluctuations of raga and dvesh. Yes, Birendra Yadav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandatna. Oh, just one clarification. Prabhu, can we say that Sthita Pragya stage, which is described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, is it mandatory? I mean, prerequisite for practicing pure devotion? With respect to what?
See, Sthita Pragya, how a Nishkama Karma Yogi, by performing Nishkama Karma Yoga, when he's free from, he practices Nishkama Karma Yoga without the desire for the fruits. And Ma Phaleshu Kadachan, Karmaneva Adhikarasya Ma Phaleshu, Ma Karma Phalahid, and he doesn't think that he's the cause of the fruits. So with this, slowly by practicing Nishkama Karma selflessly like this, he attains, his subtle body becomes pure and attains a self-realized state, which is Sthita Pragya. But for a sadhaka, he directly takes up to sadhana bhakti, that is hearing and chanting. And what a Nishkama Karma Yogi, by gradual development over many lifetimes will attain, he can attain very quickly by the path of bhakti, because bhakti is like a process of taking the lift, not the step-by-step ladder. So, of course, the Sthita Pragya symptoms are the symptoms of one who's on the stage of Nishtha also. By Nishtha, among the stages in the bhakti, one becomes self-realized. Is it clear, Prabhuji?
Right, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Any other questions or clarifications? Okay, so we will take a few slides from the desire for mukti. As it is imperative to abandon the desire for bhakti, we have to abandon completely. Huh? It is equally important to abandon the desire for mukti. Now, among the two, desire for bhakti and mukti, which is more difficult to give up? Please hear my question very carefully. Among the desires for bhakti and mukti, which is more difficult to give up? Who will answer this? Tukaram Mishkin Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. For me, sense enjoyment is paramount, so I would try to enjoy. Liberation, yes, I'm not very keen on that at this point of time. I mean, I'm very blunt and frank. Please.
It is true. What you're saying is true. What you're saying is true. Okay. Any other thoughts? Anyone else? Now, this I'm not asking question based on the karmis, jnanis, and the bhakti perspective. Just among the desires of bhakti and mukti, which is more difficult. Yes, Birendra Yadav Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandavat. Prabhu, I think it is mukti because even we get free from desires, but we have a back of mind that we get free from this what you call janma karma bandhan, and we try to that desire somewhere in.
That is one reason. Second, any other reasons?
That's one reason, Prabhu.
There are other reasons, like the bhakti desires are based on the gross enjoyment. These are like gross desires. These will easily go away, but the desires for mukti are very subtle and fine. These are fine grains deep in our heart, which are there, very difficult to get rid of them.
Yes.
Just like, you can do a surface cleaning of a floor, but the fine dust which is there in the corner, to remove them, it is not so easy. So the desires of mukti are very, very deep rooted. So these are very subtle. So that's why it's very difficult. Now they are not troubling us because first of all, we have not crossed the desire for bhakti only. The gross things only we have not cleared. So what about subtle things are not bothering. When they come up, then the trouble will start for us. Oh, these are also there. These are also troubling me. There are some very deep principles and conceptions regarding mukti. 5 types of mukti are mentioned in the scriptures. Salokya shashti samipya sarupekatvam dhiyamanam nagrananti vinamat sevanam janah. Shri Kapil Dev said, my dear mother, despite being offered the 5 types of liberation known as Salokya Shashti, Samipya, Sarup and Ekatva, my pure devotees do not accept them. They only accept my transcendental loving service. So this is Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Through Salokya Mukti, one attains residence in the abode of Bhagwan. To obtain opulence equal to that of Bhagwan is called as Shashti Mukti. To attain a position in proximity to Bhagwan is called Samipya Mukti. To obtain a 4-armed form like that of Bhagwan Vishnu is called Sarupya Mukti. To attain Sahyuj Mukti, merging, is called Ekatva. So we know all this. This Sayuj Mukti is of 2 kinds, Brahma Sayuj and Iswar Sayuj. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conversation with Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, this comes up. The cultivation of Brahma Gyan, impersonal knowledge, leads one to Brahma Sayuj, merging in the Lord's effulgence. Also, by following the method prescribed in the scriptures that deal with self-realization, one attains Brahma Sayuj. By properly observing the Patanjali yoga system, one attains liberation known as Ishwar Sayuj, merging into the Lord's form. For devotees, both types of Sayuj Mukti are worthy of rejection. Both these. Those who desire to attain Sayuj as a perfectional stage may also follow the process of bhakti, but their devotion is temporary and fraudulent. They might be also practicing bhakti, these Patanjali yogis, but their devotion is only for a purpose to attain mukti. After mukti, they don't think that bhakti is eternal. They don't accept bhakti as an eternal occupation, as mentioned, and the statement is there, and merely consider it to be a means to attain Brahman. They take bhakti as a means, but bhakti is both the means and the ends. Their conception is that after attaining Brahman, bhakti does not exist. Therefore, the bhakti of a sincere devotee deteriorates in the association of such spiritualists. So we should avoid their association. Unalloyed devotion never resides in the hearts of those who consider Sayuj Mukti to be the ultimate perfection. Regarding the other types of liberation, Rupa Goswami explains. This is again in Bhakti Samhita. Atra tyajayat Vyokta Mukti Pancha Vidapi Chet Salukadishtatapyatra Bhaktyānāti Viruddhyate. Although the five types of mukti have been described as worthy of rejection, all five have to be rejected by a devotee. Salokya, Shrashti, Samipya and Sarupya are not so contradictory to Bhakti. Bhaktya na ati viruddhyate. They are not so much contradictory. So the mukti, all five have to be rejected. But these four, except Sarupya, Brahma Sayuj and Ekatvam, Brahma or Ishvara, these four are not so contradictory to Bhakti. Na ati viruddhate. Sukh Aishwaryottara Sevam Prem Sevottaretyapi Salokadir Dvida Tatra Adhya Seva Jushamata. There are two varieties in these four types of liberation. So in these four types, Salokya, Shrashti, Samipya and Sarupya, in these four types of liberation, there are two varieties. What? One predominated by the desire for happiness and power. Sukha Aishwarya Uttara. And the other predominated by the desire for prema. Prem Uttara. The first variety is not accepted by those who are inclined to serve the Lord. Sukha Aishwarya. Vaikuntha ka Sukh and Aishwarya. The Lord also has Aishwarya and Vaikuntha. And the devotees also have that Aishwarya. So, there is a predominance of Sukh, of the Vaikuntha Sukh and the Vaikuntha Aishwarya in that bhakti. So, Sukh Aishwarya, the desire for Sukh and Aishwarya, there is one, and the other is Prem. Oh, let me only love Narayan. These other things are there, but he's not, the Sukh Aishwarya is not accepted by those who are inclined to serve the Lord. Sukh Aishwarya. Now the next verse, please hear. Kintu premeka madhurya chusha ekantino haro naivangi kurvate jatu muktim pancha vidamapi. But the devotees solely attached to the Lord who relish the sweetness of prema. Kintu premeka madhurya jusham ekantino haro. Never accept the five types of liberations at all. Be it Sukha Aishwarya or Prema. Like Lakshmi has love for Narayan, but she has Aishwarya Bhav. She cannot give up her Aishwarya Bhav. So those who are attracted to the sweetness of Vraja Krishna, they should also give up this Sukha Aishwarya and Prema Sevottara. So I hope devotees are understanding this. Thus, persons practicing pure bhakti do not desire any type of liberation Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, being devoid of other desires. One of the secondary features of pure bhakti is achieved by considering these facts. So as long as we don't come to the state of Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, free from Mukti Spruha and Bhakti Spruha, till then the bhakti is not Shuddha Bhakti, it is Mishra Bhakti. And there can be various mishrans which we will be studying in the second chapter. Now, regarding what we discussed, I will again be going back to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu to get a deeper understanding of it. And this we will take up in the next class tomorrow. Any questions or clarifications you have? Okay, then. So we will stop here. Shri Bhakti Tattva Vivek ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai.